Okay, so we're going to create an example model of a spoon using the edit or the form tool, create form and form edit tools. One of the first things, if you are obviously, you can make this freehand if you like, more power to you. But if you want like at least a reference model, go for it. So I'm going to start with creating a canvas. I downloaded a model of a spoon earlier, or not a model, but a image. So just use the insert canvas, select my plane, standard. There we go. Let's embigify this. So at least know what I'm doing. Hit OK, because I can calibrate this, remember, to however I want. How big is a spoon usually? I probably should have grabbed an actual one, but let's just say a regular spoon is roughly 150 millimeters long. To calibrate, remember, right-click on the image itself, go to calibrate, select 2 points. I'm going to pick at either end. And if overall I say it needs to be 150, type in 150, it will resize the canvas as needed. Super freaking duper. F6 to resize. There we are. Okay, that's what I'm going to work with. That's my general image. Super duper. So first, create form. Now I'm going to create this spoon using 2 separate bodies. I'm going to use a plane, which prior to we've used like construction planes and such, but this is, I'm actually going to be creating a plane to then manipulate. So remember that a plane is simply a 2-dimensional surface. Now, can we add dimensions to that? Yes, technically, blah, 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 blah. But right now, think of it as a manipulatable 2-dimensional surface. And then I'm going to make the bowl with a sphere. I mean, I'm going to cut this in half and manipulate it, go from there. So it doesn't matter which one you want to start with, but I'll start with the sphere. I am working both of these on the XY plane. And I'm going to select this right in the center. Let's make it at least as big as this general shape. Now, I am going to put symmetry onto this. I'm going to do it afterwards just for reference. I'm going to make this about 32 millimeters simply because that fits the image here. All right, select OK, leaving it as 8 and 8 for longitudinal and latitudinal faces. Don't need to mess with it. Operation new body, super good. Next, I'm going to create the handle using a plane. Now, much like creating with the box tool, this begins as, again, select your plane. Much like with the creating the box tool, you have an option of selecting starting from either a center point rectangle or a center rectangle or a 2-point rectangle. Because I'm working all along this axis, I'm going to use a center plane rectangle. So I'm going to select somewhere in the middle. Doesn't actually matter so long as it's on that axis, because I'm going to make this roughly the size that I need. That seems about rightish. And now I want to add and subtract faces. So first off, I want to dial that way back. I want to just have length faces. I just want 2, left and right. As far as for the width, let's see, how many sections do I really have here without overcomplicating what I'm doing? 5, a bit much. Let's say 4. That seems a bit more reasonable. So I have 2 going side to side or along the length, and I have 4 along the width. Again, I can add symmetry afterwards. There we go. All right. So now I have these 2 starting points. Might as well add symmetry now just to get ahead of it. So, oops, not insert edge, symmetry. Now the default is, like it says here, mirror symmetry. This is internal, meaning that, and let me pull the drop down again. If it's external, or rather duplicate, it's more of like the mirror, it works more of like the mirror tool, because that's exactly what it says. If you ever accidentally put the symmetry on and, oh poop, I don't want that, you can see down here, it is clear symmetry, it removes symmetry. Or rather, you could be building a model up to a point symmetrically, and then you want to deactivate symmetry so that it's asymmetrical, there you go. That's how you would remove it. So for now, we're just going to use mirror internal, select faces, which means for the plane here, I'm going to select one on the left. Now, if I select down here, it's going to make that symmetry across that green line there. I want it side to side. So now it's going to make it up and down this length. Click OK. Although it looks like for some reason it added symmetry there. So let's make sure to clear symmetry. Clicked OK. There we go. Not sure why it added symmetry there before. Reapply. There we go. I just want symmetry along the axis line. I'm going to do the same for the sphere. As long as they are opposing faces, doesn't matter where you select. So I'm just going to select one on one side, the other there. You can see from more of a front view or back view, symmetry across that green line. Great. Okay. Now, what I want to do outright, I want to get rid of some faces. I'm going to work on the bowl first. I'm going to select those faces, and I'm just going to delete them. I only wanted the hemisphere, half of it. Now, outright, you're going to ask, well, wait, this is only technically like a plane's width thick. That is perfectly fine. We are going to use one of the other tools later, the Thicken tool, to exactly that, add dimension. Unlike, say, the Extrude and Revolve tools, Thicken works just like the Shell tool, only in reverse. Whereas the Shell tool on a solid body took a solid and shelled it out, hollowed it out with the wall thickness. Here, we are starting with something that doesn't really have dimension. It's just the surface thickness and adding dimension to that. So back and forth ways to work. So right now, that's all I needed. Okay. So first, I'm going to use the Form Edit tool to manipulate the bowl here. So select Edit Form. Actually, before I start that, realized I forgot to save. So make sure hit save into there. Example. Spoon. Okay.
I have a question. So you know how you turned it into like a rough shape? Can that be the model, like stay as that, or is that just like a construction tool?
What do you mean? Hang on a second. So yeah, we'll certainly get into how to apply more modifiers. But right now, just showing the example, just general examples here. All right. So first, I want to work from the top, and I just want to stretch the forms out a little bit so I can make this more of a spoon shape. So select Edit Form. I often like to work with the vertices if I'm just trying to rough out a shape. I just like working that way a bit more. That's just a personal preference. So select there. You can see now the vertices I'm working with. So first, I'll use that one, just using the orthogonal arrows, drag that to the back. Now, one problem here, you'll see, well, I only grabbed just that lip. So what I probably should do is Control Z and actually move all of those. So let me go back to the top. Drag all of those and move them as one, because I'm going to compress this down here in a few. So just selecting the whole to do here, all the vertices right there, drag that all out. Remember, now I can work with, say, the sides here. Make sure to also grab that one. And I'm going to use a free transform. And as I move one, it moves the other side because it's all symmetrical. And let's move the top in a little bit. Getting closer. Yeah, not bad. Worse from the side. Ooh, that's a little significant for a spoon. So let's start compressing some of these. A couple things that you could do. You could select all of these, and I can use a uniform scale and scale them all down. Problem is that drags them all together. So let's Control Z that. I can use a scale side to side, and that shrinks it that way. But if I warp it up, you can see it's still stretched all the way, so not so much that. So right now, we're just going to do this kind of more manually. So first, I'm going to just start dragging these upwards don't think I got all of them that time. Let's squish this up a little bit. We're getting close. It's going to be a little lumpy, but this is where you can start to tweak these a little bit. Let's get that in there. Now, this red line here, you do have a handlebar vertice. I can mess with this. That is just adjusting that spline edge. Because like I said, this is all a T-spline. So this all works like a three-dimensional fit point spline. So I can do that to any of these edges here, because this is all has a pretty aggressive edge at the moment. Drag that inward. Same. Now, working one-on-one, yeah, it is fairly inefficient, but as you're learning, it's a good way to just experiment and play. So again, that bowl is looking pretty rough. Let's see what we can do about that. Let's change those. And since it's symmetrical, we'll do that. And let's try scale using the scale tool to bring those in. There we go. That's smoothing it out a little bit. Not great, not terrible, but getting there. So, all right. You get the idea. Keep playing with it. You'll get somewhere more than where you like. Can you make this whole thing more shallow? Absolutely. Next up, let's save there. Hit it. Spoon, bowl. All right, now let's go to the handle. So this is just a plane. So I'm going to start from the top. This is where I can get, what I want to do is I want to get these faces and such close to the bowl, but then I'm going to use the bridge tool to actually join the two. So they can, like a bridge, span a gap there. So you actually don't want them touching. So first, again, edit form. Let's use the edge tool here, or rather, let's use all the things. There we go. So first, I want to select this edge. Remember, it's going to manipulate both, so that's fine. Let's use the free transform and just drag it that way. But if I free transform it, I only selected one side, so it's actually letting me stretch and pull all in one go. Pretty cool, if that's your thing. I can use select one of the vertices, drag this inward a bit. Same here. Drag in. That one, let's drag that out a little bit. This vertex, let's free transform that. And I'm going to use a point here, just the end point, and let's drag that outward. There we go. There. Let's see here. Scale doesn't do anything. And there. All right. So really roughly, there we are. Like I said, there's some areas I need to continue to adjust. So what I can do is say, like here, I can insert an edge. I want to add one more rib here. Let me zoom in so I can get that. Double click it because I want to make sure it's both. Nope, I only want a single edge and I want it over there. I'm going to put it somewhere there-ish. That seems about right. Click OK. Now I have an additional edge to mess with. So back to edit form. Use the vertex, and I'm just dragging that a little bit closer. So you can add edges and things like that just to give yourself some more details. But you see, if you start with a simple or a more simple set of faces to work with, you can rough out your form much more quickly, then develop detail. If you start with a whole bunch of faces, you're just going to have so much more to have to deal with. It makes it overly complex. Simplify it first, then add details. Makes it a lot easier to work with. All right, other thing is over here. Well, okay, well, this backside here, I can't really mess with this as well. Well, one thing I could do, select that vertex, and I can try deleting that. It's not going to let me delete that, and that's perfectly fine. But what I can do, hit OK, let's add another edge. But I want to go side to side. I'm going to have this go on both sides. Yeah, sure, that looks about right. OK, now I have more to mess with. Again, edit form, grab that vertex, and let's drag that around a little bit. Now what I can do, however, let's grab both of these edges, and I'm going to use a scale tool to warp this around. If I, let's see here, select that, I can rotate this a little bit, And now I can manipulate that edge a little more effectively. So like I said, play around with this stuff. You're gonna find some stuff that works for you. You're gonna find some stuff that doesn't work well for you. And we're gonna try and get this close. Now, this is not an accuracy assignment. This is, I just wanted to import a model of a spoon, so I had a good reference to go from. You are free to do whatever you please, whatever you, in quote, call a utensil, so long as it checks off the requirements. All right, so I added some more edges here just to help work the back side there. I added an edge up here just to get closer. I don't have to bridge these two yet because I'm going to use exactly that, bridge tool. Okay. Save. And now handle edit. All right. So far, so good. Cool. All right. Now, just a reminder, we are still in the form tool. I have not hit finish form yet because all of this is occurring within this section here. All right. Now what I want to do, next step, I want to, well, actually I lied. I want to add a little bit more dimension to my spoon handle because it is, well, flat. So I'm going to edit form again. Now let's just tweak this a little bit. At vertices, so they show up. All I want to do here is I just want to add a little bit of an arc to this. Drag upwards a little bit. Up. Then let's see. Those, let's rotate from there. Okay. All I did is I simply added a little bit of a curvature to that. That's all. All right. Complete that. There we are. And I'll save again for edit curve. Oops. Curve to. Okay. All right. Next thing up, modify and bridge. Now look at the tools here. What it does is you select two different sets of edges and it will build a plane bridge across those two. So select the bridge tool. Yes, only it is kind of like a loft, only it operates rather than a merging two complete profiles. It's working on just edges. Yeah. So yeah. All right. Now, yes, the symmetry tool is in play, but you still want to select the two edges. So side one, still all active. Now I want to select, I change my selection tool in the toolbox to side two, and I'm going to select these two curves here. I could let it go and just let the symmetry take care of it, but it often will cause issues if you don't actually select the complete set of curves. At least here, you do get a preview checkbox. Select the preview. Now, like it said, I'm currently display mode. Let's check more of there. Okay. Whoops. It built my bridge without. So let's go back. Bridge, same. Select. Side two. Select. There we go. You get a preview of what's going on here. What you can do, twists, not so much. You can add faces. Let's just go back down to one. Again, keep it simple. You can always add details. If you want to maintain a crease, if you have a hard edge you want to keep, select that box and it will do so. I haven't really made any changes here, so it's fine. Twist, none. You can put in a follow curve if this was our larger gap and you had a line for it to follow. So just like using like a rail sweep or something, this can build a curve across, or for that matter, a loft on a line. So yeah, same deal. But I don't have one of those, so don't worry about it. Okay, select OK, and it will automatically generate. And there we go. So it's still showing the bounding box. Right now I have utilities. It's on the control frame method. So it's showing both. If I switch back to just curves, much smoother. Now I can still manipulate this. Now this automatically built this bridge and I can still manipulate it, but let's save there. Oh, there we go. Okay. And it maintains my little curve with the bowl. Yeah, my somewhat misshapen scoop there. That's okay. All right. Last major step on this is adding some dimension to it, thicken. So I'm going to select the Thicken tool, select the whole body. You can select how thick you want it, just like with a shell tool. So let's say 3 millimeters. So it's going to show some weird stuff here first. All right, within the toolbox, you have thicken types. You have sharp. So if you wanted to thicken this like it was an extrusion and it cut exactly that, really sharp edges, you can leave it that. Soft, it will round it out. It's not showing it right now really, but it'll round this out. You can also select no edge if you intended to build this out separately, or if you want to use thicken like an offset tool. I'm going to keep it as soft. Direction normal, you can leave it as axis. I don't want that. Leave it as direction normal. It's going to thicken it in all directions. Select OK. Kind of a beefy spoon there. 3 millimeters might have been a bit chunky. I think we just made more of like a little tyke spoon instead of that. So unfortunately, you can't go back and edit that. So this is where I'd say you want to do all this stuff in one go. So I'm going to Control Z that and do the thicken again. And instead, I'm going to put it in as 2 millimeters this time. Same sets, a little less beefy now. Okay. Now you can still continue to add stuff. Here, if you wanted to add like, I don't know, play around with it, you can adjust now. You have side faces to play with, or you can adjust like here. So maybe you want a little bit stronger of a thumb hold there. That's edit form. Select the face there. Yeah, let me extrude that. So I'm going to press and hold press and hold Alt. And I'm going to drag, oops, not the scale. I wanted the arrow. Alt, out, added little wings to the thing, I guess. Sure. That works. Scale that down a little bit. Set down. There, now it's a Cobra spoon. Cool. So you can continue to manipulate from here.
So if we 3D printed this would be like a very shitty spoon for like soup, right? Because it would probably melt in bed, wouldn't it?
Well, hot soup, yeah.
Yeah, hot, well, not cold soup.
Many don't love to have.
I have used this for I've made a couple of like coffee scoops and such because I didn't like the ones I had and I wanted something with a much longer handle to reach down to the bottom of the bag. So yeah, totally works. All right. So I added a little bit of wings. Why not? Why not? There we go. Okay, that's pretty much what we want to get. That's pretty much what you want to get to for a very basic start. So now, finish form, completes it all out. There we go. Finish form. All right, there's your spoon. Now is where you can manipulate the basic utensil. So now I want to say, let's turn it into, well, actually, hang on. I'm going to split this off into a couple. So what I mean by that is I'm going to select new component, select that. Select OK, there we go. Boom. All right. New component, spork. And then, oops, not what I meant. New component, spork. I know I misspelled that, whatever. Make it a sprock. And let's say strainer. Okay, so I set these up so I can copy and paste these over. All right, so body of the original, There we go. I'm gonna copy down into here, activate that one, paste. There's an extra. Okay. Hide that component, activate Sprock, because I can't spell. Do another one. Hit OK. Good. Hide my Sprock. Activate strainer. Control V. Added. Super duper. All right. So let's start with the strainer. I want to add holes to it. So just like before, back to the old traditional sketch. Start a sketch, and I'm just going to select somewhere. Let's just say dead center-ish there. Sure, 2 millimeter hole. Okay. Now, when you use the let's see, do we use rectangular or circular pattern? Let's use, well, first let's offset this. So my sketch, I want to move this, create copy first. Let's move that over, sure, 4 millimeters. Okay. And actually, I probably should have done another. Actually, this I could have done with the other thing. So again, create copy. Sure, 4 millimeters over. Could have used the rectangular pattern for this, but oh well, whatever. Okay, now what I want to do, select circle pattern. I want that one. I want that one. My center point is that center circle of that point. And let's make some stuff. Good night. 8 seems rightish, maybe 9, maybe 10. Keep going. Keep going. That's a bit excessive. 9 it is. All right, circular pattern and finish sketch. Okay. Now let's extrude. And good golly, Miss Molly, let's just select all of those in one go. Select all of those. And I'm just going to drag my extrusion, just like old normal, straight down through. Oops. Cuts right through, leave it as cut. Okay. Blam. Instant strainer. Always make it fancy. Add some fillets. Select every one of those little buggers. Or better yet, let's just do that. Much better. Let's see what it'll let me do. 1 might be a bit excessive. I think I broke it. Let's say 0.2. Much better. Okay, there we go. Round over the hole so stuff doesn't get stuck. Cool. 0.2. Okay. Add holes to make a strainer. All right. Now let's go back to my Sprock, which I refuse now to rename. So why is it showing those? Shouldn't be showing those sketches at all. Interesting. Anyway. All right. And I just shifted colors just so I can see what I'm doing here. So for this one, let's do another sketch. As usual, there we go. And I want to use a center point rectangle right smack in the middle here. And just draw, let's see here, how wide should a tine be? Oh, sure, 4 millimeters seems reasonable. And the other, let's say 45. Super freaking duper. Now let's put a couple of fillets in here to round that out. 2. What happened there? That looks super wonky. Something happened wrong there. Ah, whoops. Looks like I didn't actually select the fillet. or that I want. There we go. All right. All right, made a sketch. Gonna make some cuts again. Only first, let's use rectangular pattern, and I want that whole thing. Let's go. Oh no, I want that in both directions. I want symmetrical. There we go. This might be an excessively large spoon here, so let's say 5. Yeah, I may have made. It's possible I just made this way too big, but whatever. You get the idea. Click OK. Great. Finish sketch. Select all of those. Extrude. Right on down through. Why is it showing me multiples? What is the purple one? Spoon should not be active at all. Strange. For some reason it's showing me the other too. Anyway, cut through. Oh, that's weird. Looks like my sketch was actually slightly below the plane. So let's go back. Edit feature. Yep, went a little bit far. So make sure, do it. We'll just do symmetric. There we go. Takes care of the whole to-do. A very confusing and rather imposing spork. So let's do some fillets here. See if it'll let me do full rounds on these faces. I doubt it. Yeah, not so much. So just regular fillet on those, and those. Let's try again, 0.2. A little meager. Let's say 0.5. Yep, too small or too big. So 0.3. Somewhere there-ish. Oh, looks like I missed one. There we are. What was it? 0.3. Oops. There we go. A very concerning spork. Or potential bear claw. I don't know. All right, we'll see. Did it twice. Now, you know what? I'm going to keep it a sprock because that is mildly entertaining to me. Okay, hide the sprock. Got my regular spoon there. There we go. All right, just to help because it's ghosting and showing overlap. So let's move these here. Component, that one. Yes, that one. And I'm just going to move this over a bit. Let's make it an even 60 because whatever reasons. Okay. Sprock is there. Activate the sprock. Let's move that one. Same. Okay. And now I can unhide the strainer, activate the whole project. I don't know why I'm getting doubles on that. Where's the strainer? What's going on here? Somehow I'm getting an overlap mesh of, there we go. It was hiding the original body. Okay. Save. Okay. So easy way to make one form and manipulate it into multiples. That works too. Now, last thing I want to do is use Shift in, go back to appearance mode, and press A to add some appearances. Let's get rid of this garbage. Metal, because reasons. I want a gold spork. because I can, damn it. Why not a platinum strainer? And we'll make, just for grins, rich mahogany spoon. Okay, cool. Now, that is all by the whole body. What I was saying is one of the other things you could do, say you're making like a knife or something like that, you could also put like an insert into here. So I can put in by faces and drag, say, just that face, and put in some mahogany just on that single face there. Now, obviously, that's kind of a goofy thing to do, but that is something that you can do. And I realized I forgot to capture the new positions as I move them all over. There we go. So you can see, easy way to apply some appearances. Now, right now, these are all pretty rough appearances because it's all still in the design mode. If I went over to render, it's going to show them as much more so to their actual coloration. But there you go. Easy way to manipulate one into multiple forms. Now, can you and should you make multiples? Yeah, go for it. But you could alter one multiple times and do the same. Basically, there's no constraint on the assignment to say that you can't do it that way, however you like. But make sure that each one is unique, each one is changed. You are creating the form, or you're creating the utensil with the create form and edit form features, then manipulating it however you please. One last thing, asked about adding sharp edges and such. All right, we got the spork here. Let's go back to the thing is, like the edge forms and everything, these all have to be done back in the original. So reactivate the edit form for, and it's going to roll back the history to the current spot. So I'm just manipulating that one. What you can do under modify, you have your edge tools and all this such, but what you could do is you can actually like add creases and things like that. So if you wanted to sharpen edges, you could do exactly that. Let's create a creased edge. Let's see here. Select by T-splines or by edges themselves. This is mirrored. So what I could do is say maybe just select just these top edges here. I'm going to select around the side. There we are. Now you can see the difference. That top edge is much sharper. The bottom edge is more rounded. Easy way to add creases and stuff like that is just along your lines. If there's not an edge there existing, that's when you would go in, insert edge, and then you could sharpen that edge just that way. Select OK. Back to current, and recalculate all the things. And Computify. And Thinkertize. There we go. And if I go back to, let's change my visual style to just shaded. Now you can see that clearly made some very confusing issues with the whole project. That's just with it rendering, trying to do the appearance rendering and all. But see, now I have these edges on the on my form. That top edge is very sharp. The bottom edge smooth. So you could do inlays, all kinds of stuff like that. Play around, experiment, and please ask if I can help with any questions. On that, form tools are pretty great. You can really do a lot of fun stuff with it. We're starting here with just the basics. We'll be building up from there.